Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.
It's Croctober, the official celebration of Crocs fans like you. So whether you like to rock your classic clogs, get cozy and fuss-lined, personalize with your favorite Jibbitz charms, or even, dress up like a clog for Halloween, it's time to tell your story and share your style. Join the Croctober celebration with Crocs fans around the world. Go to crocs.com to discover the range of shoes and find a pair that's iconic like you. Crocs, celebrating you all month long.
Welcome to a very special bonus episode of Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, giving our reactions, giving our feedback. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're kind of doing like a little bit of a season 2, maybe get a little bit into season 1 recap episode. Probably less season 1 stuff.
Yeah, we're going to focus more on season 2. Yeah.
But we're going to give our reactions to everything that's happened so far. Maybe give some of our favorite moments, favorite episodes, favorite villains, favorite everything. And then also least favorite everything. Because you know us, we're a couple of haters. Not haters, but you know what I'm saying. We'll definitely let our voices and opinions be known. And then we also have some questions and suggestions from people that have written in to our email address, boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com, as well as our Instagram @boyswatchingbuffy, as well as our Discord. Just look up Boys Watching Buffy. We are pretty active on there. And it's a pretty sweet community. Recently, I kind of asked everybody, like, hey, where's everybody from? We're going global, baby.
Yeah, it's a nice safe space too. I like.
Yeah,
everyone's been very, very welcoming, I would say.
Yeah, very welcoming. Also understanding the rules and stuff of the podcast. Like the main rule of our podcast is this is our first time going through it ever. We've never watched Buffy before, and we're trying not to have anything spoiled. And everyone's super respectful of that, and I really appreciate that. It's super great.
Yeah, and Elias, our moderator, has been doing a great job just making sure little things don't slip through the cracks. Stuff, nothing major, but just in case something looks a little iffy, he'll check on it. And he's there to answer any Discord questions if people have it. And also, there's a full spoiler channel there, so you can go in there and chat with the huge number of Buffy fans. Like everyone there, I guess, loves Buffy, because otherwise, why? Either you love Buffy or you love us, and I think more people love Buffy than us.
Very fair. Yeah, that full spoiler section. I wonder how crazy it is, because like me and Vance, we have that part of the Discord, and we just never go in there. I don't know how active it is. I don't know how. There's probably people in there like, these fucking idiots. They don't know anything.
I can't wait when we finish this. Finish watching all of Buffy in about another 3 or 4 years, and we get to go back and see the comments in there.
Oh yeah, man, they're good. We're definitely looking like a couple of dummies, or people are like, oh, they're hitting on this thing, or oh, they're predicting this thing. It's going to be great, because we do our predictions at the end of basically every episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's basically just recapping season 2, and talking about some things that we missed, some things that we learned, etc. So, shall we get started here, Vance? We have a little rundown of what we're doing.
I can start us off with this last episode, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I quickly dismissed your comment that the Buffy's mom not believing that she was a vampire slayer was an allegory to like the LGBTQ.
Yeah, like coming out of the closet.
And I wish you would have pushed back a little bit at me. My reasoning for dismissing it is because I was so in shock that she saw a vampire stabbed in the chest and didn't believe it. And then I just, that was my whole mindset. I was like, I can't believe this is the angle she's taking. But that said, they do have the thing about the line about like, maybe you didn't have a strong male father figure, which is like, you know, coding for that. Yeah. So yeah.
I was waiting for the mom to say something like, maybe we could send you to some kind of Slayer conversion camp or something. Yeah. I felt it was like pretty head on, like on the nose. But I wasn't going to like fight you about it.
No. And I was just like, I was so shocked by the whole reveal of the Slayer thing, and then the mom just and Spike being in the room. So I wasn't even, my mind wasn't even going there. I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah,
but no,
that was an insane
they were
scene.
definitely angling for that. That is true.
Yeah, and another thing that we learned. So one thing that we kind of harped on in that last episode, becoming part 2, was Angel being out in the sunlight during Buffy and Angel's like sword fight thing. And we've gotten a lot of education about, and I constantly forget it. I know that it exists, and I know that there's a lot of complaints about it, but the remastered version of the show that's only available for us, I guess. Like we can't really get our hands on the original.
Yeah, we don't have the box set. We don't have the box set DVDs for obvious reasons.
So apparently, like the lighting is all kinds of fucked up. Not even just the lighting, but like the cropping of everything. It really hampers the show.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more like the cropping and like the framing of shots moved here and there. I did not realize they did a whole like color pass on this thing.
Yeah, on the Discord, I think it was Elias, our moderator. Yeah, he sent a couple of screenshots of things that like it would be completely nighttime, but in the remaster, it looks like it's bright as fuck. I was like, whoa, that's bad, dude. Like, whoa.
And I was like, I can't believe Joss Whedon, who just like remastered Zack Snyder's like Justice League and made it bright as hell. I mean, maybe he took a lesson from this, even though I think he hates the HD remaster of this. I don't know why he would HD remaster.
Let's call him up. Let's ask him. Josh, you're on the Boys Watching Buffy.
He's like, oh, I guess I died. And what the hell? This is it. But yeah, no. So yeah, anytime we comment on the frame, it's going to be hard to comment on the framing and stuff. But I feel like most people, if they're watching it for the first time, are probably watching the HD remaster.
Yeah,
because it seems like it's really hard to get your hands on the other version.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like in the future, I'll try and keep it in mind a bit more about how there's a remaster, but I'm going to forget about it, to be honest. I'll be like, what the fuck is daytime? And then we'll get a message in the Discord like, no, it wasn't. So we'll have to keep that in mind. We know that it exists, and we saw like the stark differences, but you got kind of some slack here.
All right. So going a little back further past the earlier than the finale, the I only have eyes for you episode, which I always forget because the title is kind of like the Nightmares one with that eye monster. But the one where the high schooler from the 50s shoots his teacher.
Yes,
I had a really hot take on that one.
Well,
I was really heated that like I was like all on Buffy's side. I was like, screw this guy. And I was like, hey, don't, whatever. No, you got to forgive. And I totally get that it's about her forgiving herself for what happened to Angel. My issue is the ghost itself wants to be forgiven for shooting his teacher.
Yeah.
And wants her to come back to life and tell him that she's sorry and that she loves him. And that's what I'm not on board with. Like this guy, like he does not make any move to apologize to the teacher he shot and killed. His problem is I can't pass over because she never forgave me.
Yeah, that episode was a weird one for me, and like trying to parse through and understand it was a little difficult for me. Like I mean, we all know that I had like, if you listen to the show, I had a hard time understanding what the Jenny Calendar and Soul of Angel stuff.
Yeah, you really got lost on that one.
Yeah, I absolutely did. I still am a little bit, but like this one, I can understand it as well. Like I could get how that was supposed to be Buffy, but I'm with you. in that it was like it could have been done better, or they could have shown that ghost was a bit more remorseful.
Yeah,
I think you're just supposed to read its body language or something.
Yeah, the ghost isn't remorseful. He got another teacher killed that episode.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, I'm going to kill teachers until one of them comes back to life and says, I love you. Like, that's what I got when I was watching. And I get that they wanted to, like, have Buffy try to get over her own stuff. And they wanted to have that, like, scene with Buffy and Angel there, which is fine. I just think the framing that they used for it just didn't work for me. But I know that episode is one of those episodes that a lot of people like. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of any other kind of like correction. I mean, obviously this season is the big season where we learned about the invitation stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We had a hard time with that for a little bit, and then we got schooled on it. And
it became a major plot point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got schooled on it, and we got now we know, and we've learned.
Yeah, I feel like our complaints were valid enough.
Yeah,
for the time, for not knowing what was going to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's different rules for different vampires all over the place. Like, the lore is different everywhere, so.
We still don't know how Angel was able to get into Giles's place. Had he been there before? We guess we just have to assume he had been to Giles's place before. They were just hanging out talking about Buffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah. But, all right, Vance, you want to get into our next segment here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So this segment, we're going to go top 3 favorite episodes, top 3 least favorite episodes for each of us.
Okay.
Do you want to start with the least favorites first, end on success?
Or we could go back and forth. It's your call. I'll let you decide how you want to do
let's go. Yeah. Well, I kind of didn't put mine in any kind of order.
I don't have any kind of order. And I have a couple honorable mentions in both categories. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'll start. For my number 3 least favorite episode, I have Lie to Me. That episode with Billy Fordham and all of his goth buddies wanting to become vampires.
Yeah.
That one kind of didn't resonate with me, and the impact of Ford dying, like it doesn't have any kind of extra effect on anything that's going on. Like, there's things that happen in season 1 that are still being referenced to in this season. I don't think that we're going to start a little prediction here. I don't think that those ramifications of anything that happened to Ford are going to play into effect anytime else.
No, it was a one-off episode, and it was there to make Xander and Angel jealous.
Yeah.
But they already kind of did that in season 1 when she goes on a date with that guy that's into dark stuff. And they're both jealous. So it's like, it was a little bit of a redux of it, and it's a new character comes in, and Spike is lame in this one, I feel like. This one didn't make my list of like least favorites, but yeah, there's
a couple of them that are like going through and looking at all the episodes where I was like, that one wasn't offensive, but there wasn't anything. Like, there were a lot of episodes I really liked, but they wouldn't make it into my top 3.
I will say that one.
3.
I will say that one isn't that much fun.
Yeah. Because then he's like, I have cancer and I want to be a vampire and live forever.
It does have a great moment when Angel's talking about how these people don't even know how vampires dress, and then the guy comes down wearing the exact same outfit.
That was a great moment.
That was good. Yeah.
All right, you want to go with one?
Okay, I'll go with one of my least favorites. I have Reptile Boy.
Okay. That's the one with the frat house, right?
The frat house, yeah. I thought the frat house stuff was a little funny with Xander.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of it, with the like drugging the drink, Cordelia having to go to the party with Cordelia, and then once the reveal of Reptile Boy happens, and it's just this, it was so lame. It was just such a lame effect. Like, they were cutting around it. She just cut it off with this. She like cuts it with the sword, which you never see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reptile Boy. And this was another one of those episodes where she's like, I just want to be like a normal person.
Yeah.
I feel like, and it just, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. That I remember that special effect being pretty ridiculous. And then, I don't know. Yeah, that didn't make my list, but I could understand. I see the argument for it.
And these aren't in the particular order. I just have like 3 and a couple others.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Another one of mine is Are we
going worst or best here?
Worst. Let's just knock out worst.
Okay,
here.
yeah. Let's
We're starting off negative, everybody. Yeah. Sorry. It will get positive later on.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure this one's probably going to be on your list. I have Killed by Death on here.
Yep, that's the first one I wrote down.
Yeah. That one, they're in the children's hospital and the demon. And then Buffy, like the resolution of it was just Buffy snapping a demon's neck. I was like, there could have been something more there.
Yeah.
It could have been a bit more special. It could have, demons. I don't like to think of them as just being physical beings that you can just punch,
Well, you're in bad place because that's all Buffy does.
I know,
is punch and kick.
But
sometimes you need a special sword.
Exactly, you need a special sword or like a spell or some kind of something.
Willow has to Google how to.
Yeah, like there was no Googling.
Yeah,
this was just like Giles brought some grapes. Buffy started punching the air.
We did learn about those grapes, though. We learned that.
We did
that, and
that's a British thing.
The British thing, like bring grapes to a hospital because of like the antioxidants or something. It's like a old.
But I think what really hampered this episode is that it was right after Passion.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like such a banger of an episode. And there were so many things going on and so many ramifications. And then this was like the next episode after it. And it didn't answer any of the questions that were going on there. It didn't expand on that story, which is like the main story. So this felt like kind of like a detour around the main story. And I don't know, it just, maybe if it was earlier in the season, and I think that we looked it up that this was supposed to be in season 1 or something. Yeah. But I think it probably would have worked better in season 1, and it wouldn't have landed on my like worst episodes of season 2 list if that were true.
I think the issue, like I love the one-off random ones.
I
mean, I like having those, but it's tough. It'll be tougher as you go. I mean, they have to. These seasons are long. 22 episodes. That's long. Like that was normal then. That's extremely long. Like that's you could get 3 seasons of TV out of that now. Which is crazy. Which I think this one just dealt with like the middle of that episode had like they tried to push it artsy with her flashback to the cousins and is she dreaming? Is she not? She has a flu. And it was just all over the place. I do think the best moment in this episode is Xander and Angel at the hospital. The threat.
Oh yeah,
which never gets resolved. That threat.
Yeah. Well, he was there,
running away.
He was there.
Yeah.
If you don't remember, like that's the episode where Xander tells Angel, "You're gonna die, and when you do, I'm gonna be there." So technically. I mean, we also know that Angel is not dead. He cannot be dead after the events of what happened in Becoming Part 2. Yeah. But he was technically there.
He wasn't in the room. He left the room.
Okay. It'd be like if he was like, I was still in Sunnydale.
Let's just say this. He didn't even wait outside for Giles and Buffy to come out. Or like for Buffy to come out. He just ran away. Because they're in school the next day. They're in school the next day or the same day. Who knows? And they're just like,
actually, you know what? He doesn't know that he's dead.
Yeah, they don't even know what happened. And I'm like, wait, you didn't just stick around to see if Buffy was going to walk out? How far did you run?
And how fast?
That is why Cordelia keeps calling him out for running away.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
There we go. We fit that in.
All right. So what's your next one? I think that we both knocked out that one on our list here.
Bad Eggs is one that I wrote down.
Yeah.
And it's not the worst. But it had two things going on in it with the cowboy brothers and then the body snatching eggs. And I felt like they could have stuck with one or the other. And they didn't do a good job of what, like, there's that one scene where that thing comes out of the egg and locks onto her face in the middle of the night, and nothing comes of that.
Yeah, I think that wasn't it also, there was something else going on with the eggs where it showed some kind of superpower and it didn't ever do it again, or it didn't relate to anything at all later on. Ah, man, that one would have made like an honorable mention for me because that one, I wonder if those cowboy brothers are going to come back later on.
I think you mentioned that they are still in or the one brother is, because one got eaten by the giant eye monster. And this is a classic, it was a gas leak episode.
Yeah, one of those where it's just like, wow, that's a terrible excuse.
Buffy, you were supposed to be at the library. I'm so mad at you. I've been washing blood out of your clothes this whole time.
And the last one that I have was actually the first episode when she was bad.
That was on my honorable mention.
Yeah.
And it probably is maybe a little worse than Bad Eggs as an enjoyment standpoint, but it does have the sexy dance. It's the start of the sexy dance.
It does. That was a recurring theme throughout this. But I mean, that one, I didn't like Buffy trying to be like, oh, I'm a bad girl now. And like just being, don't care about me. Nobody talk to me. Like it felt forced and it didn't work with her character. And I mean, I get that what they were trying to do, but it doesn't mean I have to like it.
And it's still a leftover episode of the Master and the Anointed One.
Yeah.
I forget what else happened in that.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too. Like, it wasn't that memorable aside from like, I just wrote down my synopsis of it was Buffy tries to be a bitch. She like tries to be mean and like, no, I'm bad and don't talk to me. You all suck. Leave me alone. And it was just like,
is Angel even in that episode? I don't even know.
I don't remember. That was like 20 weeks ago.
Have to go back over my notes.
Yeah, I reread like the Wikipedia stuff about it, but I don't know, man. I just didn't really.
Yeah, Angel's in that. We got Chico Mato.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the first big band at the Bronx.
You want to know how long ago that episode was for us? I have a completely new notebook of Buffy notes now, so I couldn't even check my old notes about it at the moment.
You're auctioning that off, right? For
if anybody wants that. Highest bidder gets it, and we'll give it to Vampire Awareness. The money.
Yeah.
Do you want to mention any other like worst episodes? I don't know if you had any other honorable mentions.
Only Have Eyes for You was a mention just because I had the issue with the whole that 50s premise and that guy just being like, apologize to me, dead teacher. But yeah, that was only an honorable mention. But other than that,
I think my only honorable mention was Bad Eggs.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of on board with you for that one. I was just like, All
right, so we overlapped on a bunch.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I knew that Killed by Death was going to be on yours because I remember just doing that episode with you and just being like, man, what a fucking letdown.
Yeah. And the timing, you're right. The timing of it when it happens in the season is really.
Yeah. All right. Let's do best episodes, our favorite episodes from this season.
Yeah.
Top 3.
And I'll start off by saying I didn't put the finale stuff in mind.
Yeah, me neither.
And I didn't put I didn't really put the What's My Line part 1 and part 2, which is like the 2-part mid-season Kendra show up. So I kind of went with like other episodes.
So did I.
I think we probably both have the same number 1.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe you picked. Oh no, I think I know which one you picked.
There's one that I on the episode. I was like, "This is fucking awesome." I know that my number 1's going to be on your list.
Okay,
it has to be.
Oh, all right. You can go first then.
All right, I'll go first. At number 3, I have Halloween.
Okay, I have Halloween as like number 2 on mine, but yes,
Yeah,
that was a very.
I love that episode. It was fun.
Yeah,
dude, it was like kind of like a Goosebumps book. Like everybody's costume, they become what their costume, and it showed like all this weird shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the birth of Military Guy.
Yes,
and the ramifications of it about like Xander knowing how to do all of this military shit, and then like referencing back to it. But then also forgetting all of his Military Guy stuff at certain points.
I mean, we don't get the bazooka shot for the judge without Military Guy, which comes from this episode.
Exactly. But I thought it was fun. Everybody becomes their costumes, and then it also introduces Ethan Rayne, who also that kind of leads to the kind of side story about Giles being the Ripper, and it hints to like Giles's mysterious past. And I know that piqued our interest. Yeah. And I think that there was just a lot of cool stuff happening. There was a lot of funny moments happening as well, with Buffy being the Victorian lady or early revolutionary lady. This is also
the start of Rapey Pirate.
Yeah. Which turned out to be not to be true.
Not to be true at all. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a fun episode. And you know, Spike kind of had I know that you thought that his plan wasn't good in this one, but this was like the beginning of Spike where we're first introduced to him, and we're still kind of like, oh, this guy is awesome. And I remember liking his plan. I remember you didn't think that it was like that good of a plan.
Yeah. What was his plan in this one? To attack after they were attacked?
So he was going to kill Buffy while she was still thinking that she was the Victorian era lady, because then she wouldn't use her Slayer powers or something.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought his plan was as dumb. I thought it was like the fact that he wouldn't do it honorably and like try to take her down when she was stronger, you know?
Yeah, and then once he got a hold of her, he like took his very sweet time and waited for her to, But yeah, I loved that episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. That was one of the episodes of season 2 where I was like, yeah, this is a good show, dude.
Also, early start of people getting choked out.
Yeah, dude. Yes. Yeah. So that's one of my favorite moments. Like, we have a favorite moments of the show.
Yeah.
That scene where that little kid turns into a goblin and just chokes that old lady was so fucking funny to me.
It was. So and she's like, blah, 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 blah. Like, they really went for it too. It was amazing.
And then it was also Sexy Willow. Remember when she was Ghost and then she was walking around as Sexy Willow, and Giles was like, what are you supposed to be? Yeah.
No, that's a good one. Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we both have Halloween on there. Yeah. Well, what was one that you had?
One that I have was, I think it's tough. I'm going to go. I have a bunch. I have more than I think School Hard is one.
Honestly, I rewatched that one the other night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's the introduction of Spike.
That's the introduction of Spike, yeah.
And it was so good. Yes. Such a good introduction. Such a great character. Mm-hmm. I loved it.
Yeah.
And then like the sitcominess of like Buffy trying to hide her mom from the principal.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I had a question since you rewatched that one. Isn't this the one where the principal tells her to work with the troubled teen? That troubled girl? Is that not that one? Which one?
Wait, yes it is. Yes it is.
The troubled teen because they're having the PTA meeting or something. And then she gets turned by Drusilla. And then she shows up and then runs away. And I was wondering if we were ever going to see her again.
Maybe down the line, but she doesn't get killed in that episode.
Yeah. She just runs away.
And then this is where we see like the backstory between Angel and Spike. And this is where we first hear about Angelus, not the first time we hear about Angelus, but we see like they had a camaraderie and they're like, bro, what are you doing here?
Doesn't he say you were my, I think they've retroacted. I mean, they've changed it for the premise, but in that episode, he's like, you were my sire. You were my Yoda. But we know that Darla was the one that sired him.
Darla sired Angel.
Yes.
But maybe did Angel sire Spike? Or was that retconned?
I think it's retcon. I think Darla made him.
I feel like we had this conversation on Discord.
I feel like there's been conversations floating around about
that. But in this episode, Spike does say that you were my sire, you were my Yoda.
Yeah.
And then, I mean,
this was the episode that when I just couldn't understand their relationship after this moment. Because this moment, they're like, oh, buddy. But then once he turns bad, they did not have a buddy relationship. And
it was very much like, I'm stealing. Angel became Mr. Steal Your Girl, you know?
Yeah.
But it was a good interaction where you're like, oh, okay, so these guys know each other. Like these two legendary vampires. Mm-hmm. And then this is also where we get like, oh, that's Spike. He's the Slayer killer. Like he's come across 2 Slayers and he killed both of them. So it's like, oh, this ups the level of danger.
Yeah. And he also kills the Anointed One at the end of this episode, right?
Yeah.
That
was great.
Which puts him on the top of a list right there.
Yeah, that's a great episode. Another one that I had on here is Passion, just because that had so many ramifications.
Yes.
It had Jenny Callender's death, which was dramatic as fuck. Mm-hmm. And then it has one of my favorite moments of this whole show so far. Giles walking around with that flaming baseball bat going ham on Angel.
So good, yeah.
It was so good, dude.
Yeah. No, Passion was my top one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we definitely both had that one on our list.
Yeah. I thought that might be your top one too, but I know what your top one's going to be.
Yeah, you do.
It's not my top one, but I will say this. I will throw out, before you go into your top one, I'll throw out, I had some assembly required written down. I did enjoy aspects of that one, but I think Ted is a better episode start to finish for me because I love situations where one person knows something and no one else believes the other person. And it's it's so frustrating in like a situation you would hate to be in. So you're like watching it, like Buffy knows that this is not a good guy, but everyone's like eating those cookies and brownies and just lapping it up. And she looks crazy. And then she kills a dude that we thought she killed an actual person. Like the show made me think Buffy killed a guy.
Yeah.
And then that guy's a robot.
Yeah.
Which is just classic. Just classic.
And John Ritter killed it as Ted.
Yes.
That was a great episode. Like I kept looking at that one like, should I put it in the list?
Yeah.
But
that one makes my list. Like
it was a great episode. And some assembly required was fun.
Yes.
In terms of just like the ridiculousness of it all.
The football, that line,
and the guy, how he looked like a stitched baseball. Like that was just a fun episode. It's one of those fun one-offs that they have.
Yeah. I feel like the first half of the season had like really solid one-offs, and then they got a little plot. I mean, then the plot gets a lot more deeper, so the one-offs feel a little weird.
Yeah. So like, when they do stray away from the main plot and they do one-offs, it's like, aren't we dealing with a lot more?
Did Jenny Callender just die?
Yeah. Aren't there more important things to be happening right now? You know,
Buffy has the flu. Shut up.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great episode. And it kind of harkens back to those season 1 ones where it's kind of campy and fun. But
man, that dinner scene, I mean, it's just some really great stuff. Her coming in and just her fighting him was amazing. We got a chance to see the police station for the first time. And it's way too many. It's not too many police. It's like the right amount of police for a place that has this many missing persons.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they're doing.
Also, I want to go back to School Hard really quick. Mm-hmm. School Hard is also the introduction of kind of Principal Snyder being in cahoots with the police and like kind of knowing about the Hellmouth. Yeah. It's the first hint that we get of that because the vampires are in the school and he's like, oh, it's a gang and they're all on PCP.
Yeah.
And like one of his buddies gets eaten. Like
I told him not to climb out that window.
Man, I guess those drugs, they really they go hard on these. So that was like the first hint of that as well. So that set up a lot of stuff for the rest of the season. But I mean, my favorite episode of the season, and I think I said it on the podcast when we were reviewing this episode.
You refused to change your mind, even though Passion followed that up.
Bewitched, bothered, and bewildered.
Yeah.
It was so funny. It references things from season 1. It also kind of.
Oh, you mean Amy the witch?
Yeah, Amy the witch.
Yeah.
And it sets up Xander and Cordelia's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It also plays with Angel, Spike, and Drusilla really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like the scene where Drusilla's there and she starts to like be into it. It just had so many twists on top of each other that you're like, oh, this is so great. Like Willow being in his bed, him running to Buffy's room and being like, okay, we're safe in here. And then Angel drags him out of the window. And then Drusilla shows up. Like it just kept adding on and on and on. And the twists were so great.
Yeah.
I just fucking love that episode.
This
and
is
it
the
was
episode
so
where
funny.
Buffy turns into a rat.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a wild one. Yeah.
It's a really weird one, but I loved it. I thought it was super funny.
It didn't make my top 3 lists or whatever, how many I have. It didn't make the top, but I will say I enjoyed the episode a lot.
It was super fun. But obviously there were more important, quote unquote, important episodes.
Well, that's why I kept out the finale and like the Kendra showing up, because those were big ones that are like, okay, sure, like
it'd be
the fun,
like, oh, who's your favorite character? Oh, Buffy.
Yeah.
You know, like we all know that those are important episodes. Those are really good and well done.
I just thought Passion hit all the hit all the marks, and and School Heart was a great introduction to a character and fun stuff. So and had enough. Like I like it when they have the show can surprise you. That's the thing. Like it's kind of like, we'll get into it, but like the fact that Oz is a werewolf and Larry comes out of the closet. Like, I mean, these are like huge shocks.
Well, I was looking at Phases as well as one of my favorites because that was such a good episode as well. But
I like Phases, but it didn't crack just because it doesn't really have a villain besides that Hunter, and he's not
Kane.
Really. Yeah. That's what I was looking when we did the villain stuff. I was looking through and I was like, it's interesting how few episodes have like just one villain kind of person. Yeah. That's not Spike and Angel, obviously.
Yeah. Speaking of villains, you want to get it? So our next segment that we have is like our top 3 and favorite and top 3 least favorite villains of this show.
How do we end up with 3?
I just thought that if we did 5, that's too many.
Okay.
If we did 10, that's the whole season.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
So I feel like 3 was like, that's good.
Yeah. We worked this up on the fly, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of working it up on the fly, I see on our little podcast rundown note that we were not supposed to include Angel or Spike in this. I completely disregarded that.
Well, because Angel and Spike would be 1 and 2.
Well,
for villains.
I have a little bit of a distinction for Spike.
Okay, for me, I was like, I put Drusilla on the list.
Okay.
At one point, but I was like, maybe Angel. Like, they're the main ones. You know, I was thinking more peripheral villains, but yeah.
Well, so my distinction here that I put as worst and favorite is worst, I put Spike in a wheelchair, and best, I put standing Spike.
Fair enough.
Like, with Spike in a wheelchair sucked so bad. Like, he came in with such a bang in School Hard and was doing like all this mischievous stuff and had good plans, I feel like. And then that whole like probably 10 episodes when he was in the wheelchair just getting cucked by Angel, I was like, this sucks. Like this.
But you gotta get beaten down so you can rise up like a phoenix from the ashes.
And then he became amazing again.
Yeah.
So that's my justification for that.
Yeah. I will say it was a little bit of an issue, and we brought this up, I think, end of the last episode, is that Drusilla, it seemed like when he went to the wheelchair and she carries him out of that church, that was going to be Drusilla's moment to become like really badass. And then she's badass, but then Angel turns, and then Angel's kind of running the crew.
Yeah, well, also, I feel like when she finally gets healed up from her sickness or whatever, nothing really changes. Like, she doesn't seem any more powerful than she was before.
No, she still seems like she's having painful stomach visions, and and she's still a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, her arc wasn't really anything to me.
We'll get into some character arcs and briefly run down some later. But so okay.
Yeah, you kicked this one off because I fucked up and didn't.
I mean, it's fine. It doesn't matter. Are we gonna do worst again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Anointed One is my least favorite villain.
Oh, the Anointed One sucks so bad, dude.
He lasted 3 episodes in this season. No fault to the actor himself, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just they didn't have anything to do with that character.
Yeah, when Spike turns him into dust.
And it started from the end of the first season where they built up the Anointed One so much. Yeah. And then he meets up with Buffy in the finale of season 1 and he just leads her to the master. Like he walks her away. She's already knows how to get down there.
Yeah.
In the second episode of the show, she jumped down the tombstone thing and ran to get him. So like we don't need the Anointed One to just like carry someone, like to just be like, oh, he's over here. Yeah. And that's all he did. And then he was wearing like Steve Jobs turtlenecks in season 2.
Yeah, and it was like ordering vampires around, but I don't know why. Like, I get the pomp and circumstance, and this is what Spike says as he's killing. He was like, we need to have less pomp and circumstance around here and have a bit more fun. Yeah. And that's when he kills the Anointed One and kind of takes over the vampire crew. Yeah. But I don't know why they would follow the Anointed One.
Here's the thing. They just built up the Anointed One, but he had no powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my top. I jumped right to my top least favorite character.
I mean, my top least favorite was Death and Killed by Death because he just got his neck snapped, and I thought that was lame as shit. And we already kind of covered that in the episodes one.
You know what's crazy? He didn't make my list.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that guy, he sucked. Like he didn't really do much. He killed the doctor, I guess.
But he's also physically, you could touch him even though he's invisible.
Yeah.
And he's ginormous. I have no idea how he walks around the hospital. It's
that
the worst.
Made no sense. Like he would bump into shit all the time. He's just like bumping into like IVs, like oops.
This is the clumsiest hospital ever. Yeah.
Stubbing his toe. Ow, fuck. Ow.
But luckily he has that basement access right to the kids' wing.
Yes.
All right, I got one for you. Okay. The Worm Bounty Hunter.
Oh, I forgot that was in this season. That guy stunk.
Worse.
He sucked so bad.
I do not understand that. I do not understand the power. And he ended by just gluing himself to like glue or something and being stomped out by Cordelia and Xander.
Yeah, because that was the episode when Spike got the organs smashed on him.
Yeah, that's the Kendra My Line Part 2 episode.
I completely forgot about that guy.
Worst. We were so pumped up because he comes in, he kills this lady, he's got worm features, he's stalking Buffy from across the street like he's in like Better Call Saul or something. And you're like, oh, this is gonna be good. And he looks normal. Yeah. He looks like just some normal random guy.
And that's his whole deal is like he infiltrates by saying like, oh, Avon calling or whatever, selling makeup or whatever. And I was so curious to see what his powers were going to be because he's obviously deadly. He's a renowned assassin. Yeah. And then he just doesn't do anything except for turn into worms. It sucks.
The worst. The worst, man.
Okay. If I would have remembered that guy and took out the Angel Spike stuff, he would definitely made.
So you only have like one person on yours, right?
I had Death, and then I have this other guy.
Okay.
I put down the Judge.
Oh, I thought that the Judge... I did not put the Judge down, but you are right.
The Judge had this huge buildup as like, we need to... This guy's going to bring about the apocalypse. And also, to some certain extent, Akathwa from Becoming Part 1 and 2. No. The ones where it's like this person's going to end the world, but the Judge looked dumb, didn't do anything except for kill allies. He killed
our favorite nerdy vampire.
He killed the nerdy vampire. I mean, he froze everyone in the mall and then just got taken out immediately by a bazooka.
I love the biggest threat to humanity is going to be someone that can be brought down by just weapons.
Well, they kept saying like, oh, no weapon forged by man can do this. And then he gets killed by a weapon. I mean, understandably, he's from like medieval times or whatever, and like a sword couldn't do it. But this is a weapon forged by man. And he just gets blasted to shit by a bazooka in the middle of the mall.
Before Angel turned bad, he was like, I have to leave for the 6 months to bury this thing somewhere else. And I would have been like, wait, we could just shoot this thing?
Yeah.
Put it together. Put it together and blow it up. Let's not even worry about it. Like if he would have gone to like another mall, like in present day, the SWAT team would have come and just unloaded with bullets. He'd have been like, oh, I'm not ready for that.
And the judge's arc was like so many episodes long that it started with Angel being a good guy, trying to save the town from the judge and preventing the apocalypse, and then ending with Angel being a bad guy and getting kicked in the nuts in the movie theater.
I'll bring up a little bit of a nitpick here, because in the finale, Spike is like, I don't want to bring about the end of the world. I never wanted to. And Drusilla is the one that wants to unleash the judge. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't really want to unleash it, but he's on board. Even when the judge comes out, he gives the judge shit. Because you can tell Angel, like Spike he's not off for this end of the world stuff. But he's willing to go along with it for Drusilla. Yeah. Like, he's in a wheelchair and he's just letting this happen. And he knows, like, this guy's going to do the thing you don't want. But then somehow it becomes Angel's plan more than Drusilla's.
Well, it's also when he comes out, Spike is so impatient about the judge. He's like, come on, fucking kill people. Yeah. And the judge is like, I need to power up. Spike's like, what?
Spike does seem like a little more like, let's do this thing. Yeah. Which I don't think he, whatever. They figure it out later in the season or whatever.
Yeah. But, yeah, I thought the judge kind of stunk. And honorable mention, I guess, to Akafla, because like he doesn't even appear as an actual thing. He's just stone and a portal.
I was waiting for that effect that you always see where the light comes through the stone and the stone breaks off really bad. CGI wise. I had Reptile Boy as one, but we've already talked about that. Yeah. Another one I have is the Werewolf Hunter.
Oh, you didn't like Kane the sexist?
He's on the list just for his like extreme sexism
and creepiness, because he thought that Giles was like macking on Buffy too,
and being like, oh cool, fruit's fresher when they're young or whatever, riper or something. So he's a creep. I will say his idea to just kill werewolves, I'm not opposed to.
Yeah, I wish it was a better backstory for him.
I feel like if it was like, hey, if they knew that was their friend that they were protecting, they were just like, oh, werewolves, let's just save them in general. Yeah. If they knew it was like, oh, this is Oz, we got to save him. They didn't know it was Oz until very late. Yeah. And they are super accepting of it. Yeah. The most accepting Scooby gang ever. Yeah.
I wish that would have, maybe it'll come up again in later. It has to, like, they have to recruit him as a werewolf. Like, oh, it's a fucking full moon. Like, let's just wait for this fight till the full moon. Oz can be a werewolf.
Yeah, it's no way you set that up and it never happens again. It's impossible. If they did that, this would be the worst show ever, regardless of how much I liked it. I will make that statement, because you can't set up every 4 weeks someone turns into a werewolf and we never see it again.
I do remember loving the scene of Kane just in the bronze with the rifle and like people sweeping in the background. Like that was such a funny moment.
Talking loudly about werewolves.
Yeah. Like there's no cover up for that one at all.
They're like, oh, we all had our iPods and what happened?
Yeah. But yeah, Kane did kind of stink a little bit, but just his story sucked. Like I get that he was like a big game hunter or whatever, but it would have been a bit more impactful if it was like my daughter was killed by a werewolf or my wife or my hunting buddy, something. Yeah. But he was just like, no, I heard that werewolves exist and I want to kill them all. Like, okay. I mean, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, another one I had was like the Gorch brothers, but they're whatever. So I think it's time to move on to the
let's get on to the favorite ones. Yeah. So this is where I had Angelus and Standing Spike. So I only really have one.
Okay.
And then I'll probably jump on yours. Yeah. The one that I have is, and might be a little kind of a dark horse here. Mm-hmm. I have Ethan Rayne.
Oh, not a dark horse at all. He was number 2 on my list.
Yeah, I thought that he had a great Halloween plan, and he also set up the history between he and Giles. And I don't think that this is the last we see of him. Like he's got to show up again. Like this is going to be a recurring person, and he is interesting, and I want to know more about him.
And he when he has scenes, it works. You know, like he's good in a scene.
Yes,
like you can have him in a scene talking to Buffy, and you're like, oh, I'm engaged. It's not like, whatever. Cool. So I have Ted as mine on my list.
That was great.
My favorite. I mean, he was really mean, manipulative, a robot that was fighting, but like he punched the shit out of Buffy.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, brutal. Had a basement full of dead ex-wives.
Yeah, creepy. And like he was
number one seller, a great seller at his company, at his software company.
That guy's a machine.
that guy's a machine. Winks at the camera.
Well, didn't he start to like beat up Buffy's mom a little bit too? He started to rough her up.
At the end, we were like, oh, they always do at the end of a show. It's like, all right, the facade's down. Now it's just time to grab her. Yeah.
Can we include Principal Snyder in this?
Oh, Principal Snyder made my. I think he made my. No, he didn't make my list.
Because I am he's funny in like the ridiculousness the lengths that he will go to blame everything on Buffy.
I will say in the show that has this many villains, I think Principal Snyder being in the top 3 is
it a cop out? Is it kind of like Angel and Spike?
He hasn't done enough yet. Like he's like a Mr. Belding and Saved by the Bell for most of it.
Okay, well, I will just say then, in that case...
He's good. I do love the character.
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued. I will say that. I'm intrigued. He keeps saying stuff that hasn't gone anywhere, but yeah. I had Drusilla on my list, just because this was the season where she actually came in and she killed Kendra, which was still, I thought, lame.
Yeah.
But
Drusilla is crazy as fuck. And she's crazy,
unpredictable. And she has the same visions that Buffy has too. Like they can all see, like they have premonitions. But I'll speed through the couple of people I had, or just like these last 3 that were kind of all like tied up. The science kids that made the
some assembly required,
because that one dude was just like down to kill and cut Cordelia's head off.
Yeah,
so he was crazy. Inca Mummy, just for the way she killed. But she wasn't really a bad guy.
That one kind of like that one didn't really resonate too much with me. I was like, I saw that one on the list of the episodes. I was like, that was a good episode when I saw it. But then
really a villain, but she's, it's like it doesn't really fit. But this one is a nice counter to the worm guy. Is the knife wielding bounty hunter?
Who? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one who opens fire in the school at Buffy.
Yeah, the police, the red-haired woman.
Yeah, and shoots Oz. She had fighting ability. She had a plan. She lasted till the final fight. So I give her a little bit of credit.
I feel like we gotta also mention the swim team and the swim team coach.
The swim team coach almost made it, but he's so dumb. His plan is so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny though.
It's funny, but like, what is that?
Yeah. All right, and we also have like our favorite moments. So not least favorite moments. This is just patting patting the show on the back. Favorite moments. Obviously, Giles with the baseball bat.
Yeah,
fantastic moment. That was my number 1.
For me, my number 1 is still Spike getting hit in the head of the back of the head in the church and falling into the pew and the whole thing falling down. You can go to Instagram and scroll and find that clip. I posted it. It's worth watching I can watch that loop forever because then she goes, "I'm good."
Yeah.
And she's swinging it and it's no way that she has any torque on that.
Yeah, no.
And then you just watch it and Spike's walking into the wall.
Yeah. There's no way there's no other place for him to go.
He's not walking towards a door. He's walking into a wall. And all the other people are just watching him walk away. Kendra's just standing there watching. And he gets hit in the head and it's amazing. So
that is a great moment.
Yeah.
Another, and we've kind of talked on some of, I wrote 6 moments here, but the kid choking the lady on Halloween. Loved that. That was so fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
I have Buffy with the bazooka at the mall. I thought that was such a crazy reveal. It was kind of like when Darla had the double guns in season 1.
Oh my God. That probably got us into the show more. When she's on the pool table with the double guns shooting at the bronze.
Yeah, when Buffy showed up on top of the popcorn machine or whatever she's on, like the concession stand.
And then they hand her the bazooka.
Yeah, and the judge is just looking at it like, what? And then she just blows up this
Angel and
apocalyptic
Drusilla
person.
are running away and diving right away. They know what it is, and they don't even tell them. They're not like, get down. They're just like...
No, I mean, I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Oz waking up as a werewolf and being like, huh. In the
For me,
middle of
it's
the woods,
phone
naked.
For
Just
me,
like
it's the phone call later.
the phone call was great, but Oz just being so chill about being a werewolf, like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
This is a guy who got shot in the arm and was like,
Yeah, I mean, he's like unbelievably chill about everything.
hey, vampires exist. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, I do. There's some stuff about Oz that's great.
And then I also had Willow with the axe.
Oh, yes. That
like standing in front of an army of women, just like, you fucking bitch. How could you be dating that bitch? I was like, God damn, that was so sick.
That was good. That was a nice turn in that episode.
Yeah. What about you?
I have a lot of the same moments. Spike getting hit in the head, Revenge Giles with the flaming bat, Spike with Buffy's mom. That shot alone is just so
my
great.
God, I should have put that one. That's so fucking funny.
Obviously, Jenny Calendar's death reveal for Giles. That moment alone is great. Like, her dying was one thing, but like the way Giles found out about it was just so dark and so perfectly executed. Yeah,
and it was incredible because they could show it on TV, and it wasn't like anyone being beheaded. It was just a corpse in a bed, and like the buildup of Giles thinking that he's gonna have like a romantic evening, sexy romantic evening, and then just going upstairs and all of the like everything just wiping away from his face. He acted the shit out of that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's all about us. We, the audience, know. So it's not like we're going to be surprised when it gets up there, but we just, that emotional hit is more than you would get. Like when her neck gets snapped and they cut the commercial and it's like, you're like, wait, did that happen? Is she really dead? You're not like, there's nothing there. Like you don't really, you're like, oh, that sucks if she's dead. I think. And then once that happens, it's like, it becomes all real. Yeah. And it has a great transition too, where the cops are there.
And it is like a 3 to 5 minute long thing where Giles shows up at the door and there's a rose on the door. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I saw that rose on the door, I was like, fuck.
Oh, yeah, it's like everyone knows. And we're like, oh no. And then you see the picture. You see the picture that
building
he's been drawing.
Up too.
Yeah, he's been drawing pictures of Buffy's mom and Buffy when they're asleep. And he has one of Calendar. And he
No, it just says upstairs.
Oh, it just says upstairs. But it's the same envelope. He went to his same stationery person.
Yeah, and then there's like
paper.
There's the champagne in the ice bucket, and then Giles sees the upstairs thing and he takes off his glasses and he's just like, oh yeah, it's going down tonight.
And we're thinking we're gonna see Ripper go at it.
Yeah.
just the make out of that would be insane. Because we do get to see him make out with her later.
Yeah.
Which is her as Drusilla.
Drusilla.
But they go hard with those makeout scenes, man.
Dude.
Who needs a sex scene when you're making out like that?
Yeah. But yeah, those are some great moments. I know that a lot of people in our Discord mentioned the scene in the last episode, Becoming Part 2, where Angelus is talking to Buffy and being like, take away all the powers, take away all the blah, blah, blah. What do you have left? And then she says, me. Apparently that's like a pivotal, iconic Buffy moment or like a favorite moment for a lot of people. And it just didn't really do anything for me.
I mean, yeah, you're not a teenage girl. So I mean, it's a rallying call. It's a cool rally call for it. It didn't stand out to me either, but I could see how that, like, seeing the stills that people posted and that, like, because I don't even think I really heard what he was saying during that whole scene because I was so busy, like, what is happening?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I mean, we harped on it.
You know what I think
about the
happened?
being out in the daylight thing. Like, I don't think that I could even.
I know exactly what happened. Me and you both saw that scene where Spike goes, "He's about to kill her." Oh,
Yeah.
well. And then me and you both just started jotting that down.
Yeah.
And probably missed out on, like, that emotional part of the scene. Because that happened right before.
That plus focusing on he's standing out in broad daylight. Like,
yeah.
you know, and I think that is what people get pissed about the remaster is like we missed that moment because we were so like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
At least for me anyway. That's probably a
honestly,
reason why I
didn't
missed out
even
on it.
like. There was so much going on. I didn't even like the sunlight thing. Was not even a thing that I thought about. But yeah, they did make a big mention of there being sunlight when they moved into that place. So
Yeah.
it would make sense. So yeah.
All right.
Wait, I had another thing. I just wanted to say the fish coach line was one of my favorite. Buffy's last line about they must really love their coach.
Yeah, that was.
And then Larry coming out
Really, Larry coming out gave it.
Larry coming out was a big shock. I didn't realize that they were going to make that character gay in the show.
Do you think we'll ever see Larry again?
Yeah. He goes to the school. He goes to the school.
But, I mean, fucking. So what?
What we've learned is perfect attendance for every student at the school all the time, regardless of what happens.
I mean, do you think we're ever going to see the kids that from some assembly required again?
No, they probably got killed off screen. Larry's a character that popped up in multiple episodes, so I think he'll just pop up again.
I feel like I don't know.
I think he's there. I will.
And are they going to use him for some kind of secret gay vampire mission?
No, but he was there as like just a random bully for stuff before.
That's true, but like now he doesn't need to be there to do that.
But now you can just have him at something. There's a prom episode, and if you think he's not going to be there with some dude, then you're crazy.
Fair. That does make sense. Or he stands up to a bully.
Yeah,
like, hey,
there's so much stuff.
Stop bullying Xander, and then he like kind of pats Xander on the back, like, I know your secret.
And we know that this show likes to bring back characters that we knew to kill them off to try to like force drama, like what they did with Kendra. So why not just have Larry die saving somebody or something, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. He's coming.
All
back.
right.
He's coming back.
All right. Yeah, now that you've mentioned like the ways that he could come back, that does make sense.
Why would you not have him just die to come back? They brought Kendra back from an island just so she could so that she could die for no reason
and leave hypnotized
and leave a terrible chalk outline.
Oh my god, that picture that you screenshotted of her with her like her cheeks, it looks like she's blowing air into her cheeks and she's like, what? It's so stupid looking.
They did her dirty, man. They
really
did
did.
Dirty.
They really did. Can I do Joe's Fashion Corner best dressed, worst dressed really quick?
Yeah, this is all you.
So these are going to be kind of weird. And they're going to be kind of out of left field. I'm going to start off with worst dressed. And it's a tie between Willow and Xander. Willow had some absolutely... I mean, I get that she's a nerd.
And it's for the time. They went real colorful.
Yeah, I mean, some of her stuff, when I rewatched School Hard, she had this one shirt, dude. It looked like vomit all over.
What's the episode where she has that giant purple hat?
Dude, that like floppy hat that she has like flipped up. I mean, even in phases when she's wearing those yellow overalls, like I get it. You're leaning into like the childish naivete of Willow, but good God, like some of those outfits were trash.
Yeah, well, you don't wear yellow overalls to go confront a guy about why he doesn't like you.
Yeah, dude. It's a bit more serious than that, you know?
He's like, look at you.
Yeah. But Oz would be the type of guy to like enjoy that. But like,
I mean, he was into her when she was dressed like an Eskimo.
That's true.
Who's that girl?
I mean, the only time that she looked good was when she thought that she was dressed like a skank or whatever. Like I thought that she, or was it like Buffy lent her some clothes or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. You brought up a good point in that Halloween episode. What was she supposed to be dressed as?
Exactly. If you asked her, what was your costume?
Yeah. I don't really, I got to say, I haven't paid that much attention to their outfits unless something really stands out. Buffy has a weird range of like looking attractive and then looking very like she's a mom.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
But Willow hasn't looked terrible all the time. Like I don't think she's only looked good when she dressed like Buffy.
See, I feel like even the overalls, like she looked fine, but it's just like such a goofy. Like even if you're a nerd, you wouldn't look that goofy.
I think that look works for her, though.
All right, yeah. But yeah, what you're saying about Buffy is weird too. Like even in the earlier episodes, I feel like they didn't figure out her fashion.
Yeah.
Because remember in the early part of this season, we also have Angel in that khaki jacket that we were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, what was that for like 2 episodes? He was just
yeah. And he had like a light blue shirt on, like, and then towards the latter half, they figured out their outfits. Like Angel cannot be seen in a khaki like members only jacket. That just makes.
But he wasn't seen that way in the first season either. That's what made it really strange.
Yeah, I mean
maybe that was the end of was that the end of the first season when he has the khaki thing?
No, it's season 2.
Oh yeah, because
I'm pretty sure
this is it was no assembly required.
Yeah, that was in assembly required.
Yeah.
But like it seemed like they were trying to take some swings after they had already established like a pretty decent uniform for him.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are you doing this?
It was like they were trying to Walter White him from like season 1 of like Breaking Bad. Obviously, you can tell I'm watching Better Call Saul now, making references to Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But yeah, like I don't know why they went beige. Like he's been wearing black the whole show, and they went like they're just 2 episodes. They decided to switch it up.
And another worst dress, not for the entire time that they're on screen, but 2 of the most egregious errors in my mind goes to Xander with those humongous collars. I cannot get over. I don't know what it is, but those bother me so fucking much. I can't get over them.
I don't know what it's like to live life like that because you're always one that will talk to me about like teams' uniforms and stuff. And I know there's a big thing. Like people are like, oh my God, that uniform's ugly. That uniform's great. And I just like, I don't care. For some reason, like stuff like that doesn't bother me. Like team uniforms, I'm not like, they got a new uniform. Yay. That team still sucks though. But the collars is such a big deal for you that I don't even...
It's
like
I get
the disco collar maybe, but the other collar is like, it's definitely oversized.
It is.
But it makes you physically sick.
It annoys the shit. Like I have very particular things about fashion with that. Like there's certain things like unnecessary buttons bother me. Like if there's buttons on something but they don't connect to anything, like I hate them. I hate Henleys. If you wear Henley shirts, like those collarless with
the 2 buttons that
I hate them. And those giant collars bother me so much.
So
I don't
never
know what
watched
it is.
Dexter, huh? I think he wears Henleys a bunch.
I mean, that's a big reason. Like, I have a hard time. Like, even when he's interviewing like some of my favorite comedians, like if Joe Rogan is wearing a Henley, I have a hard time watching it.
I like that's the reason that you're having a hard time watching Joe Rogan.
That's not the only reason. But like that'll be when I tune in where I'm like, oh, okay, Bill Burr's on or whatever. I'll be like, I want to watch it. And then I see Joe Rogan wearing a Henley. And I'm like, why you got to do this to me? I just want to listen to Bill Burr, you know?
You know it's a podcast, right?
Yeah, I know. I can listen to it. Get out of here. But yeah.
People have no idea what you podcast into, which is funny.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you right now and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you saw what I was wearing every single episode of this podcast, you'd be like, what the fuck? But yeah, those are kind of my worst dress. And best dressed, I feel like will surprise some people. So best dressed, I have two people. Mm-hmm. First up, I got Giles.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's got, British teacher, tweed jacket, always looks kind of the same and put together. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I mean, he looks put together. There's never been an episode where I'm like, ugh, Giles, what are you wearing? Whereas every other character I've basically had. Yeah. Aside from like Spike, who wears the same red button down and leather jacket.
Yeah.
But Giles is consistent and it's always kind of the same and it works for him. Like he knows how to rock his look.
Yeah.
It's great.
Question. Do vampires sweat and do they need to do laundry?
That's one for the Discord.
Yep.
If you know about sweat and doing laundry.
Because you're just saying he's always wearing the same outfit, and I'm wondering.
Or are they like cartoon characters that they just like own the same outfit like 10 times? Like Steve Jobs are like, well, if I don't think about it,
Angel
I have more time to slay or kill people.
Angel, for someone with no job, has a really nice apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he also kind of gets... His wardrobe gets kind of douchey towards the end. Mm-hmm. Like he starts wearing like big belt buckles and like leather pants and stuff. I'm like,
do they go to the stores that are open at night? What are they?
I guess so. It's like he starts to turn into like an Ed Hardy bro towards the end. But he didn't make it. And best dressed, and this is another best dressed. I think number one would be Giles, just because he knows his look, he rocks it. He's never once had an egregious error in my mind. Mm-hmm. The other one that I had here is Drusilla.
Interesting. It's very costumey.
Yeah, but
very gothic. But
it's her.
I will say those are like tailored.
Yeah, and she rocks it.
Yeah.
Like she never looks bad.
Yeah.
There's never been a time I can recall in the show for doing this podcast where I've had to be like, Drusilla looked like fucking terrible. Like she just rocks her look.
You said that like you were like, God, I can't judge her. I'm so mad.
Yeah. I mean,
don't slip up Drusilla next season because he's waiting. Joe's waiting to pounce.
But yeah, I mean, she looks good all the time. And like, even her hair is always on point. Like it might
even
be from a different.
Sick. Yeah. Even when she was sick, she would still have it done. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even if it is from a different era, you know, it's still, she could show up at a goth club and people would be like, oh my God, this is the dopest fucking person here. Like, she looks good.
You know what? I didn't expect that. That's a shocker. Yeah, but it makes sense. I can't argue Giles and Drusilla.
So that's the Joe's Fashion Corner Awards for season 2.
Nice.
Yeah, so I had to have a little aside there because I did write that down and I was like, I didn't write this down for nothing. I'm getting this out here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're running long, but we did want to do some character arc stuff.
Yes.
Let's just kind of run. This would be a whole nother. You know, we might have to do like a mid-season thing because we're trying to pile a lot into this episode.
This is going to be a lot. We also have like questions and stuff from our.
Okay, let's just go this way. Which character do you think has like the best unique arc, and which one has like the most inconsequential arc so far?
Most inconsequential arc, I would say Drusilla. Yeah. She, you know, we were supposed to like see her get better and be this super powerful person, and like we said earlier, she gets better and she's, I guess, more powerful. I don't know, but she doesn't seem to change at all. She's still goofy and wacky, and I thought that there would be a more stark change from the beginning of the season with her and her being sick and then her getting better. But I just didn't really see that much of a change with her.
Yeah, this is the how it started, how it's going segment. Yeah. And basically she started out sick and then she got better and got super strong and then got knocked back out. And now she's driving away. Yeah. It's not, I mean, it's a TV show, so people don't have to necessarily advance. Like Willow's always going to be a nerd, even though like she's been concussed and should have brain damage. But you know, people are Xander's going to keep making jokes. Giles was one of the characters for me that was really interesting because we had that Ripper turn And I was like, how is he going to go back to being a stuttering, bumbling, like a British guy, you know, after seeing him being like, I'm a badass and don't you ever do this, and like kicking the shit out of Ethan Rain. Yeah. But they kind of made it where he just went back to being himself. And then Ripper comes out every now and then with the flaming bat. Yeah. So it's like interesting, you know, like he is the nerdy guy. At first I thought he was putting on an act as a nerdy librarian, but that's him. And then he just has a dark side. Yeah. So
you think he is the most consequential arc?
No, now I'm just kind of running through people really quick.
Okay.
It just came through. So let's go Buffy real quick. Buffy started out, you know, she got resurrected.
Yeah.
Tried to go bad.
She was a little scarred from the master situation.
Tried to go bad. She's trying to figure out like, I think the ending of this episode was really a good ending to her being like, I want to be a high schooler and I have to be a high schooler. I hate being a vampire slayer. And then her telling her mom, I don't get to choose. She basically tells her mom what she has been arguing with Giles about, like all this stuff a lot. So there's that. It's her being like that scene where it's like, oh, you don't have anyone. Who do you have? It's me. Like she's really empowered even more than she's already been. She fights off a bunch of sexual advances this season.
I just feel like she was so wishy-washy about Angel even before it turned to Angelus. Like she was wishy-washy about like dating him and like, I don't know, should I blah blah blah. Like
I blame the show for that. Like they just didn't, they got 22 episodes and they didn't want them to be together. And
I get and you know it's the audience and like you know I guess it was like tailored towards like women and stuff, and you know you have to have that love story. But then she was wishy-washy about dating him, and then she was dating him, and then she was wishy-washy about killing him. Like it was. She had so many hard decisions to make, and it was, you know, me and Vance like talked about it on the like it's hard to watch. It's like just fucking kill the guy. You know?
It's like I get the emotion there, but like once he kills Jenny Calendar, once he's threatening your mom, once like it's moments where you're like, okay, we used to love each other, but this is not like if someone that you love does that to you. You kind of can flip.
Giles, going back to Giles, I wrote down that like he still gets knocked out all the time.
He did. He never got back. He still gets knocked out. Willow started out as unsure in this love triangle between Buffy and Xander. Then she got a boyfriend, became a teacher, and dabbles in the dark arts. She probably has the craziest arc.
Yeah, in one season she's
got a job.
Because it started out with her still like she was
flirting with Xander.
She was flirting with Xander, and then they had that scene where it was like they're about to kiss with the ice cream and stuff. And then
oh my god, that was the saddest moment when she put it on her nose and tried to be cute, and it just got blown, and he just blew her away. There's some painful Willow romance moments, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then when she gets Oz and like feels more empowered and gets the teaching job, and then she starts to be a witch.
She's a watcher and a witch. She has options. She has so many plans. She could be a watcher. She can just dabble, become a techno pagan. She can be a professor. Like,
I'm still sticking with my prediction that she's going to become a watcher one day.
Yeah,
I predicted that like way early.
If Kendra creates a new Slayer.
Oh,
I still think that's the thing. One Slayer dies, another one has to come back. So
yeah. I mean, Willow did have a huge arc here. Like she's the one that's the most changed. I feel like
Xander has an arc too.
No, I mean he's changed drastically.
Xander has all the women that like him.
Dude, I wrote down that too. I wrote Xander's a ladies' man all of a sudden, even though he's not.
Military guy is a ladies' man.
Yeah. And at the end, he has the whole like betrayal of Buffy and like the trust and stuff. That's definitely going to come back and bite him in the ass.
Definitely going to come back.
If it doesn't, worst show ever, no matter how much I like the show.
It has to come back. I also feel like it's going to be really weird how it comes back too. Because it's like he has a counter argument of like, hey, I didn't want you to go in there with that. And she'll be like, no, you just didn't want him because it was competition. He's like, hey, I got way too many girls right now, Buffy.
If anytime I want, I'll just go back to Amy and get everybody in love with me again.
I know what I did wrong the first time. No, and I mean, Cordelia and him, and like, speaking of Cordelia, she's had a huge turn. One, she's become part of the group, which I love seeing. And this is actually one of the questions that we had. Do we find Cordelia likable or still just a mean girl? I think she's not just a mean girl. She's a very complicated person. Like, I think she's great for the show for the comic relief.
Yes,
and I think
that's what I was going to say.
And I think she's a really good girlfriend to Xander. Like, she spilled her heart out. She's bringing him Krispy Kremes. That last scene, like, she's really like, and this isn't all about bringing people food, but like, he's there with Willow, and she's like, "Hey, do you need anything? Coffee?" He's like, "I want to stay here." She's like, "No, I got it. I'll go for it." You know, like, she has this like real affection for Xander. Like, she turned down her friend group, which in her circle is the biggest thing you could. That's the biggest thing you could do, is turn down your friend group for this guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that she's likable, but she doesn't know how to not be a mean girl. You know what I mean?
She still has superficial...
she's super spoiled and bratty, but that's just like who she is. Yeah. But she's becoming a better person and like a brat with a heart of gold, if you could say
she's
that.
Better off being with these people as opposed to just being insulated in her circle. Like, that she has, like... Because Buffy used to be like a popular one before she was a Slayer that we saw. So Buffy could have ended up going down this road, you know?
Yeah, and it's also like, she's the one that kind of, in the first episode, she's the one that kind of talks some sense into Buffy about being like, hey, look, I know that you're trying to be a bitch, but let me tell you something, coming from head bitch, you don't want to be like this.
Yeah, like she's self-aware in a weird way. So, yeah, I mean, definitely could see not liking Cordelia.
She just has so many like great little
no, I meant like people.
quips
I meant like people
well,
in
though.
the school and stuff. Not
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Like, and I love that Xander calls her out, and she gets called out on stuff, and then she calls people out on stuff. So, you know,
yeah. So Cordelia. That was an interesting kind of evolution of her character. Who else do we got?
Spike is. We already kind of gone over this.
Yeah.
Great wheelchair. Great.
Yeah, great. Crappy, great.
Yeah.
Hold on, what did I write for? I wrote badass, and then I wrote cuck, and then at the end I wrote badass cuck, because he still is like, I still love Drusilla, and I want to take her away. But I did mention that he's still always pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They give him great lines.
He's great. Didn't know that he wasn't British.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. And
somebody dropped that little piece of knowledge for us in the Discord. And
are you getting paid by Discord to mention it so much?
I just want people to fucking join it. Join it. We're active on there. I'm learning so much. Yeah. And maybe some people that didn't know anything. And like, we are also like adding additional addendums, adding addendums to the episodes. Like, we talk about the latest episodes, explain our reasoning behind some of the stuff that we say.
Yeah.
Hop on the Discord. We have emojis of me and Vance.
I love you. Like, I have no idea what Discord is before this started, and now you're just like the spokesperson.
I still don't know how it works, really.
There's only two left that we should go through, and that's Kendra and Jenny Calendar.
Oh, Kendra.
I think nothing changed for Jenny Calendar.
Yeah,
that's the one. She had like pretty much a flat arc of I'm a techno pagan. That's it, right?
Well, I mean, I guess that she and Giles got a little closer.
I'm joking. She died.
Yeah, and then she's dead.
No, Jenny Calendar. We did get the huge reveal that she put the curse on Angel.
Yeah,
and her whole back history, and then Buffy cold shouldered her to a point that I would argue was like way too aggressive.
Oh, yeah, we know. You thought that she did nothing wrong.
And you were confused about all of it.
Exactly.
So
I just had to agree because I didn't understand anything.
And and then she tried to redeem herself. And she's the reason that Angel was able to kind of come back, but it was a little too late. But
the
maybe
floppy disk of salvation.
Yeah. So yeah, she tried to redeem her actions, and she's lost a lot. She lost her uncle. She lost her life.
Yeah, she is pretty tragic.
Yeah. And she's like, hey, Angel's a problem. Angel just killed me. And Kendra, I just thought I get what they were going for, but they could have done someone else.
Yeah, it wasn't as impactful as I think that they thought that it might have been, especially after we see Jenny die. And
I mean, she's just such a big
aftermath.
Character. Yeah. Well, they killed off, in the werewolf episode, they killed off one of their classmates.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my God, that was a classmate of ours. And then Buffy's like, that's it. I don't care who the werewolf is. I'm strangling them. I don't care. And I was like, that was some random classmate we never saw before.
Yeah.
That's all you needed.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't need someone to fly in for no reason, hand off all of her weapons, and then get killed.
Yeah. That was...
And they didn't use Mr. Pointy. They didn't even use Mr. Pointy.
Yeah. And the way that she died was embarrassing.
Yes.
It was embarrassing.
I think she could beat up Drusilla.
Maybe that was the powerfulness of Drusilla that we were wanting to see or whatever.
I wanted her, like, just have her throw her across the room and be like, oh, wow, yeah. But no, it was like she just got hypnotized and nail throat slit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a weapon. It was just fingernails. Like,
and we don't get and like you said, with Jenny Calendar, we at least got a chance to see like the reaction to it. This one, we got like...
We got the chalk outline.
We were just like, Buffy shows up and it's like, is she dead? And then the cop's like, freeze, you're under arrest. Yeah. No questions asked by the cop. No, like, what happened here? Just, you're a girl kneeling over a body with no weapons in your hand. You're under arrest. He's putting her in handcuffs without any questioning or rights read.
Boy, did he realize that was a mistake. That's where he got decked.
I can't wait to see how she comes back to school.
Yeah. Maybe she's just a vagabond now.
Yeah, people want the predictions, but let's see if there's any questions. Here's one. Do you think the show deserves the praise it gets, or is it all just nostalgia? What hasn't held up well?
I will say I think it does deserve the praise it gets, because we're watching this for the first time in 2022, and we enjoy it. Like, it's fun. It's not just nostalgia. It is funny to see some of those nostalgia things, like, you know, old cell phones or like being or like old computers. But it's good. It's a good show. It's funny.
Yeah, the thing is, we'll never be able to have that moment of like this thing like formed a part of our like how we look at things. You know, like we look at this through a different lens of having seen other shows. Like, I never watched True Blood or anything, but like there's other shows and like long running series that we've seen. So when we watch this, we're not watching this as like, whoa, this is mind blowing. Like, like some of the stuff I think back and I'm like, in the 90s, this would be like crazy television, like, to see, especially on WB or CW or whatever it was. So yeah, I think the praise is worthy of it. I think the storytelling, like Joss Whedon with all of his issues has gone on to do good movies and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why. There's a reason why he's popular, and like, it's good stuff. It's the thing that I would say doesn't hold up well at all. Number one is some of the outfits. Yeah,
and then some of the
dialogue, some of the like the jargon that they are using.
I think it's like a time capsule, some of the jargon, but then some of the mindsets of certain things. But I do think this is ahead of its time, because I know this show from like stuff that I know it has a big LGBTQ following, and like they do go out of their way to like be accepting of that in this show, and like accepting of a lot of things. I don't know when they'll like tackle big race issues, but I'm sure they'll have one of those. They'll tackle like some handicap disabled stuff. You know, like all shows just start diving into certain things like that. We haven't had a Christmas episode yet, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
2 seasons in, no Christmas episode, no Thanksgiving, no...
We did have Halloween.
But yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it definitely deserves the praise. It's not just nostalgia. Like, like we said, this is our first time going through it, and we were enjoying it. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Some of the moments are very impactful, like seeing Jenny Calendar die and Giles' reaction. Like, that's just great television.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
But them saying like, I was wigged out, I feel like that to me doesn't hold up. You know,
but now
I know that's a time capsule thing, but like,
but also it becomes like their thing. Her saying wigged out is now like the show's thing. Everybody on the show quotes it. She's like, "Oh, you're not feeling wiggy about this?" And Giles was like, wigged out, are you?" Like, everyone brings up wiggy, so it's like an inside joke in the show now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I feel like it. Yeah, I mean, certain things are not going to hold up from the 90s to now, but
yeah, I mean, it does have like the bit of drama, because I remember when I was younger, I was watching like the OC and shit. Like, I remember really being into the OC, like the first season or two.
Was
like
the OC
drama?
Was the OC a show that we talked about possibly doing, but you had already seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd already been a fan of the OC, and
I got a friend that's a diehard fan. He's seen that show so many times.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me a lot of the OC plus vampires. Like the OC, like the thing was like, hey, let's meet up at I forget what their version of the Bronze is, but they always had like indie bands playing there, and a lot of those indie bands became really popular because of the OC soundtrack.
Yeah.
So this reminds me of that, but there's like the vampires and demons and werewolves and all that kind of shit.
Yep.
Which makes it campy and funny, but also it adds an element of a little bit of danger and stuff, whereas the OC will tackle like drug issues or some like high school super drama where it's like, oh, this surfer gang, it doesn't like that surfer gang. Like, that's like this, but instead of surfers, it's vampires.
Yeah. All right, I think we should get into what everyone's been waiting for a long time. It was predictions.
Predictions for season 3.
Predictions for season 3. What do we want to see happen? What stuff from previous episodes we need answers to? We brought some of that stuff up already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that season 3 is going to they're going to show Buffy in a different city other than Sunnydale? Or do you think that that's just like a summer trip?
I think for the first episode.
Yeah. You think he's going to come back after that?
At least after the first 2 episodes. I think by episode 3, she's back in high school.
Do you think the mom's going to forgive her or whatever?
Yeah. They'll hug it out.
I wonder. See, I wonder if the mom is going to become more of like Buffy, teach me how to defend myself against vampires now that I know this. Like, is she going to become an active participant in the vampire slaying and stuff?
I feel like I saw like a shot of the mom doing something from a later episode, and I feel like she's going to get her hands dirty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I'm kind of intrigued to see that. I'm kind of intrigued to see her knowing that.
Well, we've been harping on that for so long about like, how does she not know? But now that she knows, I'm kind of like, how is this going to work?
Yeah, exactly.
Because she's been so dumb. She's been so dumb the entire show that like now that she's smartened up, like how smart is she going to get about it?
Yeah, it's like the thing we've been asking for, but then it happens and we're like, oh, actually, you were probably better off not knowing. Like every time Buffy goes out, she's like, I'm going to the Bronze. She's like, are you going to the Bronze where you got to fight vampires? Or like, like the mom, every time she leaves the house.
Or is she going to like pack her lunch and don't forget your steak?
Oh, God. Oh, that definitely is going to happen. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Well, I feel like we know that Angel is in this season because he's on like the poster. How is he going to come back?
Yeah, I think we predicted at the end of the last episode that we're gonna see him in a CGI hellscape.
I hope not. Just walking around those terrible flames, probably in his Ed Hardy pants. His bejeweled giant.
Playing pool with Satan.
If I win, I get to go back to Buffy.
Yeah, what could be the game? Like the seventh seal is chess? Like what could the game be?
He has like a Devil Went Down to Georgia type fiddle off with the devil.
This will be my favorite show ever if they play badminton or volleyball to get back. Yeah.
I wonder
like
how
table
far
table tennis. That's what they should do.
I wonder how far down the line Xander's betrayal is going to come back to get him. And is this a full heel turn? Do you think like once they figure it out, he's going to lean into it more, or he's going to ask forgiveness?
I don't think he did. I think what he did was not right, but the repercussions of it didn't really matter as much. Like they could have made it where that really mattered. Like she stabs, was like, no, Buffy, I was really me, and she's like, oh no, like that kind of thing would really crush her. And then, but she just bought it. If she didn't buy it and stabbed him, then I get it. But if she's going to come back and be like, hey, I was changed, she'll be like, I know. And he's like, did you know that he was supposed to tell you? And then she'll just look at Xander like, you jerk.
Is he gonna be ostracized? Like, because we know that Willow was looking at him all like, what the fuck is wrong with you, when he stood up and was like, who cares? He killed Jenny Calendar. Yeah. Everybody was looking at him like, what's wrong with you, dude?
Why though?
Dude,
his point was valid. Like, Willow, you were afraid and you went to sleep at Buffy's place.
That's the logic of the show, though. They're gonna feel betrayed by him. I don't know how he's gonna react to it, because he's a stubborn.
Blow it up. They're gonna blow it up.
Prick.
They're gonna blow it up, and he's gonna be Buffy's gonna be pissed at him, and Cordelia's gonna be on his side, and like it's gonna be a little rift between the group, and then something's gonna have to bring them back together.
How many episodes do you think it's going to be of that?
Oh, man, God, I don't know. That's the thing about predicting a whole season. Like, it's no way I could have predicted anything from season 1 that would have happened in season 2. Like, I knew Spike exists in the show.
Yeah. So I didn't know that he was this early on.
I know that there's another female character in the show. I don't know if she shows up this season.
Yeah,
I don't know what her role is.
I don't know who she is, because I see there's another female character on the poster for season 3, like on the Wikipedia page.
Oh, okay,
I don't know
so
who
maybe
it
it's
is.
the season she shows up. If it's
it's some brown-haired lady.
And yeah. Okay, then that's my prediction, is that she shows up. I have no idea.
Of course she shows up. She's on the poster. Yeah,
I only saw the poster that had 3 people on it.
The one that I see with 3 people is, you didn't see that one?
I mean, I saw like a glimpse, and I saw Angel, and I didn't stare at the poster just because I'm trying not to be spoiled more. So I didn't see. For some reason, I thought it was like Willow or somebody else on it.
See, I had to do it because I needed to like read the next episode's name for the last for Becoming Part 2. When we were like, oh, what's the next episode's
Is this
name?
like how you have to watch Joe Rogan on a podcast?
But yeah, the episode has like, at least on Wikipedia anyway, the poster. It has like a green background. Angel, I think, is in the center. Or he's on the left. Buffy's in the center. And then some mysterious brown-haired woman is on the right.
Well, I'll predict that she's another Slayer. And she's a major character in the show. I knew that she was in it. It was like how we knew Seth Green was in the show.
Yeah.
And it took forever for him to like show up. And he's still like kind of on the peripheral. You know, like he's not really there. So,
do you think that Spike's going to be coming back in season 3, or is he like a further on down the road type thing?
I think Spike comes back in season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know there's a big thing with Spike. I know the big Spike and Buffy thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm curious to see how that works. I'm very curious. Well, I won't say what it is, but yeah.
Somebody didn't spoil what happens between Spike. I think I brought this up on another episode, but they were like Team Angel, Team Spike, or Team this person. And I was like, I don't even know who that person is.
So you do understand the reference by saying Team Spike?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was like Team Edward, Team Jacob, Twilight.
Yeah, I just don't see how that relationship ever gets started. So I'm really intrigued.
Then I'm also like, what happened to Drusilla?
Yeah. I don't know if I'll see. It'd be interesting to see if she lasts another season, because people talked about Jenny Calendar like she was on more than half of a season. You know? Maybe
she is. Does Jenny Calendar come back? Is she a ghost?
I think she's gone, man.
Do you think Willow taps into the dark arts?
If Jenny Calendar comes back and Kendra stays dead, this is egregious.
Do you have any other predictions for season 3, or what do you want to see? What do you think's going to happen?
I'm going to say Larry's going to be there. I think we get an Oz as a werewolf.
Wait, this is their senior year. This would be their senior year. Do they graduate?
Oh, prom is coming up. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun. Like a little graduation episode.
Wait, how many seasons does this show? 7?
I think so, yeah.
Are they in college for all 4 seasons? The next 4 seasons, then?
I guess so.
They all go to Sunnydale High. Even Willow. I love that when shows do that. The smartest person goes to Bel Air Prep. Or like, yeah.
I mean, this is like a completely different type of thing, but I remember Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the TGIF version. When she graduates high school, she goes to college, and it is like kind of a completely different cast. And then,
I mean, Saved by the Bell did that too. It was like Saved by the Bell, like college years or something.
Yeah, but like, I know that like part of the thing on Sabrina was she was still trying to date Harvey, who was like her high school sweetheart. And it was like tension because they weren't going. I don't know if they went to the same college, but
what are we doing? I'm trying to wrap this thing up. We're talking about a whole nother shit.
You ever see Boys Watching Sabrina?
Oh, God.
But yeah, like I feel like they're graduating this season.
Sure. If this is their senior year, she's 16. Is it their senior year or the junior year?
She turned 17 this year. In this season, she turned 17.
She could be going into her junior year.
But I think this is their junior year.
You think this was the junior year?
Yeah, season 2 was their junior year. I think season 3 is their senior year. Right. It has to be.
What a weird. That's not even a prediction. We'll find out like soon. We don't even know what year it is.
We'll find out literally the same day that this episode comes out because.
I don't know. I don't have any big. There's things I want to see resolved. Like we were talking about the Xander thing. I want to see how Angel comes back. I'm curious to see how Spike and Buffy come back together. What happens to Drusilla, and then this new character that I've heard about. I knew about before I even watched the show, but I have no clue of what her actual character consists of.
I also want some more Ethan Rain answers.
Yes, more to Ethan Rain
/ Giles backstory stuff.
Oh, definitely the Principal Snyder, and
right. How did we forget about that?
I know we're gonna get answers. And something almost weird in like maybe 4 or 5 episodes happens, I think, with him. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
so
you seem a little too knowledgeable about this, Vance.
Well, no, someone commented on the Instagram thing about like liking Snyder in an episode called like the
Don't say it. Don't say it.
It's one of the episodes.
Forgot about Snyder though. Yeah, I want to see more Snyder stuff.
We got to figure out what's going on. I think this season we'll figure out more about the mayor and the Hellmouth and how much the city actually knows about what's going on. That's my big prediction.
All right.
Yeah.
And that wraps it up. That wraps up the old bonus episode. You got a fucking lot of stuff to listen to, everybody. This is a long ass podcast, but it was great. Good times. I enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, maybe we'll break these up so they're not. Maybe we won't do like. Maybe seasons and one recap.
Yeah, we'll maybe see. Next time.
Maybe we won't do any more of these.
Yeah, maybe we have to.
I know we will.
We'll see what the reaction. If you like the bonus episode, wow, you're an hour and 45 minutes in. If you like this, let us know.
If you're unconscious, please just blink. And hopefully someone hears. But you know what's really big? I know last episode you were like, let's just get this out of the way. The leave a like or whatever.
Yeah.
Really do it. Really, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, really like get in there and drop some star rating. Write us something, Yeah. Write a review. We see them all. And if you're on Spotify, you get to add a star. It's a 5-star rating, and all you have to do is click it if you've been listening there. So all of that helps. Yeah.
And also like, especially with this bonus episode, hearing your feedback about like, we would like more of this type of stuff with the bonus episodes. Because if you're not feeling the bonus episode, me and Vance are happy to not do it. But if you do enjoy this, like, we also do enjoy doing it as well.
And we have some other surprises and stuff in store for you guys too. But this was popular demand, so. Hell yeah. I figured if you were 34 episodes into the podcast, might as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. This has been our bonus episode. Stay tuned for our review of season 3. Let's see if our predictions come true. All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Tune into the Salsa Kings Network. Crack one open if you dare, creeps.